Hey guys, welcome back to the Tukes and Tires YouTube channel. As always, I'm Zach, and this week we're taking the C1 Chevelle, my street legal stock car, on Hot Rod Power Tour.
Hey, is that Timmy's?
Yeah, because we're in Canada.
Alrighty guys, you already heard what we're trying to accomplish in today's video, and hopefully that's to go on Hot Rod Power Tour. So this is the day before we're actually leaving. So we are leaving the Friday before it starts, just because it's going to take us a little bit of time to actually get to Bowling Green, Kentucky at where Power Tour starts. We're going to take our time getting there because there's a couple things that we want to stop along the way at. We are going to be cruising with two other friends, so hopefully after this clip, we're actually going to meet up with them, because I think the way we're going to go about this is we're going to show just before we actually leave tomorrow, and then we'll start filming once we actually enter the States. But I figured we'd just go over at the start of this video what we're bringing. I know last year on my 54 Chevy, we made a specific video just of what we were bringing, but I figured we might as well just add it in on this video just because I think that's going to be pretty cool. But if you watched the last video, the C1 Chevelle, my street legal stock car, is pretty well dialed in, ready for the road trip. There was a few odds and ends that me and Dad kind of finished up after that video, like adding like outside mirrors and just going over, checking all the bolts and stuff and all that kind of thing, like fluids. So we're pretty well dialed in there, but we got a pile of stuff over here that we're going to show you what we're going to be bringing. So basically, we're hopefully going to be camping for the majority of the week. So we have a pop-up tent, we got a little blow-up mattress thing that you can pump up with your foot, and we got a little sheet to go over that. I think we're gonna buy a blanket while we're down there, just something to remember the trip by. And basically I just got a bunch of tools. I don't think I'm bringing as much as I did last year, so we just have a couple socket sets here. I got some wrenches. In this little box here I got like hand screwdrivers and some wiring stuff. We just have a little compressor there just in case we got to fill up our tires, booster cables because you never know, you might need that. We got another set of gears for the quick change rear end because just in case something happens with the ones in it, you never know, we might need that. And then in this bag here is basically just all like random supplies. We got this like cool glue tread thing. Not sponsored by them, but I saw their videos of it's a sidewall repair patch kit. I know it says just for off-road use only, but hey, if we get a hole in the tire on the side, I don't want to be stranded on the side of the road. So this thing is going to be pretty cool. Hopefully we don't need it, but we have it. And then I got like a breaker bar, I got some spark plug boot wires, and a whole bunch of other stuff in here, ratchet straps, you know, just anything I think I need to be able to fix whatever we're going to need, like just random wire and crimp connects and whatever, because you never know what might happen on the car or somebody else's car that we're cruising with. So, you know, you never know what you're gonna need. I like to overpack, obviously, and then we just have a jack and a toe strap. That toe strap is extremely long, but that's the only one I got, and I think that's what is gonna work. So basically, we're just gonna get this stuff loaded up into the car. Hopefully this is all what we're gonna need. We still have to put our backpacks of clothes and stuff like that in there, but you know, everybody would kind of have that stuff anyways. But yeah, that's just kind of a rough overlook of what we're bringing. I don't think last year I had my truck filled to the nines with stuff and we hardly used any of it. I brought parts and whatever, and I just didn't need it. Hopefully this year, fingers crossed, that we don't need any kind of parts, but there are parts places down in the States that we're going to be cruising with some friends, so just in case something happens, we might have to hop in their ride and actually go get some parts. But I think we're going to be pretty good that way. But all we got left is to also get the headsets in for the rugged radio, so that's going to be pretty cool that we're going to have a headset system to talk to each other in the car, just because the car is a little loud and I don't feel like screaming my head off the whole trip, so that's going to be cool. We used that in my truck last year, so that was awesome. And you can listen to your phone through that with Bluetooth. You can make phone calls on it, so it's pretty neat that way. I got a pair of safety glasses up there because last year I was digging dirt out of my eyes. We're just being prepared that way. And yeah, I think we're pretty well ready to go otherwise. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to meet up with everybody tomorrow. My buddy Austin is actually coming to my house here because he lives pretty close by. So we're going to cruise together to Fort Erie from where I live. And then we're going to meet up with our other buddy Evan. They've both been on the channel before. So Evan goes by Enemy Metalworks and Austin goes by Boostdsuprsport. So definitely go follow those guys. I will leave a link down below in the description for both of them. But we're going to be cruising with them the whole week, so it should be a pretty fun time cruising with friends and some old hot rods. But we'll catch you guys tomorrow, and we'll see their rides, and hopefully we make it into the United States. Lacey down here is super sad that we're leaving. Yeah.
Well, we got 20 minutes down the road. Zach lost his clutch. So we're going to fix that and try again.
If we block the engine, then that way we should be able to lift the tranny out by hand.
Everything's okay.
Everything's fine.
This is
Perfect.
this is exactly how we planned it to go.
Exactly. Alrighty guys, so after some technical difficulties this morning, hopefully I got a clip from Austin when he was filming at our place. My clutch line actually went on the car, but we were able to fix that. I think it only took us like an hour and a bit to actually do that. So we were a little late to actually meeting up here with Evan, but we're here now. The Chevelle, she's running awesome, running a little hot. So once we actually maybe hit a parts store, I might get a thermostat just to knock down the temps a little bit. And I might get a jet kit so that we can jet the carburetor. It's smelling a little fat, but we can check out everybody's ride now. So we got Austin's truck over here. He's just changing up some tires. You know, this thing is pretty wicked. He's just freaking going way too fast on the highway, but you know, she is what she is. And then over here, we got Evan's truck. This is F100 with a Cadillac motor in it. So this thing's pretty cool. LS base, just like the Chevelle over here. So, you know, we got a good mix of everything. So you guys are gonna see plenty more of this while we're on the trip. But we're just grabbing a snack here at Starbucks, and then we're gonna see about trying to hit the border. We're hopefully gonna make it across, but you know, we're gonna make it across. We're gonna make it across. Evan already said so. So we will meet you guys in the States, probably at our first pit stop, and then we're gonna go from there. So who knows where that will be, but it's gonna be an adventure. So here we go. Alrighty guys, so I don't know how many hours later we are, but we are currently sitting at Summit Racing in Ohio. The C1 Chevelle is going super awesome. We haven't had any problems. I'm going to check it over. I did notice that the quick change rear end is leaking just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, just kind of like a drip off the bottom, so I think we're good there. We are getting kind of a gear oil smell. I think it's just from it getting hot, maybe coming out the vent tube. But everything else seems like it's going pretty good. I'm going to check the tire pressures, and I'm going to check the bolts on the tires, just the lug nuts. But we got other carnage going on over here. Evan, he's changing out an alternator right now. This is his second alternator he's grabbing.
It's going to be the right one.
It's going to be the right one? Okay. So hopefully that's going to work out. We bought some more seat foam, so I'm going to show you that in a second because our butts are super tired. And Austin over here is changing some type of gasket on some type of something. He is in there. What would you call that move, Austin?
I dropped the bolt, and now I can't find the washer.
Yep, there is fasteners inside. I did see that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I can get the seat foam in there. We're going to show you that because I know somebody commented in the last video that our seats didn't look too comfortable. But if you haven't made it to Summit Racing before, definitely go check it out because it is a pretty wicked place. Alrighty, guys. So this is what we got going on right now. So we got like a couple layers of 1/2-inch foam, one for your back. It's not too bad, but my tailbone is kind of hurting. So we bought some of these kneel pads that they sell over here at Summit. So what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna put this in the bottom so that your tailbone and your backbone kind of hit this half dead on. And then we'll also put the other foam on top of it. So we're kind of hoping that the mixture of foams is going to save our butts, but we're going to find out here. We will do an update on how our arses are doing. So we are still at Summit Racing, so I figured I'd give you an update on the seat foam. So we kind of got it in here with the handle, and I have to say, so far, it is definitely better on my butt. So what I did is I just kind of pushed it as far back as it could go, so it's kind of rolling up my back. Michaela's gonna try it like this with the handle hanging out, but it is definitely a lot better. I had to adjust my seatbelt. I'm sitting just a little bit higher in here, but it's not bad. So I don't know what's happening now. I think we're gonna get some dinner and maybe get a couple more hours on, and then we're gonna find a place to camp, and then we might do the rest of the drive to Kentucky tomorrow, which is Sunday, right? Correct? Yes. Michaela's shaking her head yes. So everybody's gonna get tidied up here with whatever they're doing, and then we're gonna hit the road. And I'm already burnt, but it is what it is. Alrighty guys, so we didn't make it too far yesterday from Summit Racing. We found a hotel close by. So it is Sunday morning, so we're gonna make a 6-hour drive to Kentucky today, but you know, Austin, he's just getting his truck cleaned off. Evan, who knows where he's at? He's probably still sleeping. And the C1 Chevelle is looking pretty sweet. I think it rained a little bit, so we're gonna probably clean her up just before we go, clean the windows, and yeah, give her a once over, but we're gonna hit the road. We gotta pick up a tire for a buddy because they blew up a tire along the way. So we're gonna do that, and yeah, we're gonna see where we make it. But yeah, you know, so far it's a new day. Alrighty guys, so it's officially the first day of Hot Rod Power Tour. I didn't film pretty much anything yesterday just because we just did a bunch of driving, but I think we did get some clips along the way, so hopefully I did put those in there. But the C1 Chevelle, she's looking awesome. We put some water wetter in it just because it's been running a little hot. Austin recommended that, so hopefully that's gonna work out. Got our tent set up here that we camped last night. It was something because we were pretty tired, but everyone's rides are looking pretty sweet. We're just gonna be heading out to get some breakfast and then hopefully head over to the event. But man, look at everybody here. Look at these guys. Pretty wicked. So we'll meet you guys over at the event. Guys, we made it to check-in. We still have to go to the first event, but so far the parking lot is looking pretty sweet. We didn't overheat. We lost Austin, or Evan.
I'm Austin.
He's Austin. We lost Evan, so we don't know where he's at yet or if he's even made it here, but We're gonna get our window stickers on, and then yeah, we're gonna start. There he is. There you are.
I got too hot, and I had to do a victory lap. Let it cool
Let
off,
it
and
cool
then
off.
come in again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to rig up some stuff at a hardware store.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
What do you think of this so far?
It's cool.
This is wicked. This is only check-in.
I was not expecting this many cars.
Yeah.
I know there was going to be like 6,000 cars, but when you see them all in one place, it still doesn't seem real.
It's wild. But we're gonna meet you guys back at the first event, and yeah, maybe we're gonna rig up some stuff to keep cool better with our vehicles. And,
I may or may not have a hood at that point. We'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be an adventure. So here we go. Alrighty guys, well we actually made it to the event and it's actually closed, but we didn't get the vehicles in there. It was like crazy today. They said that there was like a 3-hour wait to get in or something like that.
Yeah, definitely 3 hours to get out.
Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. So we just walked in, watched some drifting. You guys just saw that. And yeah, it's, you know, it's pretty wicked over there what they were doing. Hopefully we're gonna get into some events later on in the week. We're gonna try tomorrow, I think.
Yep.
We did have some technical issues. We fixed a fan on Evan's truck. And I think yours was pretty good throughout the day.
Yeah, I've been pretty problem free.
Yeah,
so.
the Chevelle's been going good. We did put some water wetter in it, and I don't think it changed anything. I don't know, we're gonna see. We did buy a thermostat. I don't know if we're gonna change that maybe later on in the week, but
we should do that right now.
Nah, it's okay, it works. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna shower up, go get some dinner, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow, probably in the morning. So it's been a fun one so far. Alrighty guys, well we finally made it into the second day event. It took us like, I don't know, like 45 minutes to get in here. The car only got up to about 200, so it wasn't too hot, but I wish it was a little bit cooler. We did buy that thermostat, so I don't know if we're gonna do that. Yeah, I think we all made it in here. Everybody's kind of parked wherever, but let's go check out what's inside. Guys, so it's Wednesday. You saw the footage from yesterday, us being at the track and the car being in Nashville Super Speedway. That was super cool. You know, the angle was incredible to feel that being in the seat. It was just, I can't explain it. And to have this car on there, I know this is a dirt car, but even just to have it on an actual NASCAR track was pretty sweet. But we did get a coolant leak last night from the lower radiator hose, so Evan gave me a ride to a local parts store, so we grabbed some hoses, hopefully that we can make work. So we're gonna try to save as much coolant as possible with this here jug that I got on the ground. And we got some more just in case we gotta top it up. But we're gonna get the hood off, see what we can do, see if we can get this one on there. It's kind of a tricky situation just because my rad is 1 3/4 and it has to go to 1 1/2, so I'm hoping that we can actually maybe give this a bend to hook up to what I already have in there. The hose I wanted, we would have had to drive about a half an hour to get, and that's not ideal, so we're gonna see if we can make this stuff work. So we'll come back to once we maybe are doing something and have it figured out. So here we go. Alrighty guys, so we got our hoses changed up here. So we put a new upper one on just because it was pretty hard. Luckily enough, they had one at the auto parts store that was like kind of the right shape. It wasn't the right size for here, so I just kind of cinched the hose down as tight as I could. Hopefully that's going to be okay. This side was like basically perfect, and then the other side over here, I had to cut this one to fit on there. But my problem is, like I said, I think I said before, is that that's 1 3/4 and then this is 1 1/2. So we didn't change this one, so hopefully this hose is going to be good enough. I didn't look into it to see if it has any cracks or anything, but this is I think the cold side, so hopefully it's gonna be okay. We're gonna go with it for now. I do have the other hose that came off the top here, so we got to make something, or I have the part number for this hose, so if I have to buy another one of these, we can always get another one of these, or some other kind of 45 to come off of that. I think what we're gonna do for now is just run with what we got. I burped the air out of it, so hopefully we got it all out. It just only took about a half a jug of coolant, so we didn't lose that much. That was all right. So it only just broke just down the road from where we were last night. Yeah, so hopefully we're gonna hit the road here. I don't know if we're making today's event. Everybody seems like they want to go to a Buc-ee's, so we might hit up a Buc-ee's while we're down here, check that out, because we've never seen one of those. So that's gonna be fun, and then hopefully we're gonna hit the last 2 days of the tour. But big shout out to Evan for taking me to the auto parts store, because I would have been able to get there without him. So Yeah, and for his moral support while we worked on this, telling me that I could do it. I was pretty confident, but he never doubted me.
Never doubted.
1 minute.
I may have wavered. I never doubted.
Thank you. But so yeah, we're gonna get this all tidied up here, and then we're probably gonna hit the road, and maybe we're gonna see you at a Buc-ee's, because I'm pretty excited to check that out. So let's hit the road. Alrighty guys, so we finally made it to the 4th day. We skipped yesterday. We went to Buc-ee's. You can obviously see from my shirt. But we're gonna go find Austin. He's probably having some problems. He's over at the Holly booth, so we're gonna see what's going on with him. Evan's truck is cooling pretty good now since we changed the fan on it, so that's awesome. But we're gonna go find Austin, see what's wrong with his truck, and see if we can fix it. So let's go, let's find him. Alright guys, we made it over here with Austin, with his truck. So Austin, what's going on with this thing?
So the rough roads are, they were a bit much for the truck, and we've got the shock brackets actually tearing the frame all to shit.
Is it like that on both sides?
It's not as bad on the other side, so the other side's not actually cracked. If we can find a welder, we can kind of weld some steel on it and stiffen it up and get us home. We're about 6.5 hours from home, and yeah, we're gonna have to beat it and clamp it and hopefully find some steel and a welder. And
so I think we're gonna make it pretty good here, but we'll come up with an update once we figure out what's going on with this thing. We're gonna get my car into the painless booth here, so my tools will be closer so that we can actually start working on this thing. So yeah, I think we're gonna be in good shape.
yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Here we go.
Oh, is this technically we stopped at this place?
I've got a hold of Jim. He's driving with me.
Alrighty guys, so we had an awesome day today. Everybody was coming by checking out the C1 Chevelle at the painless booth, so that was super cool. We did figure out with Austin's truck what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go to Harbor Freight, we're gonna buy a welder. We're gonna weld up his shock mounts, so hopefully that's gonna work out. After that, I don't know what we're doing. So we'll just update you guys on that as well, but I think we're gonna get the hood back on the car, and I think we're gonna head out of here. But that will do it for day 4 of Hot Rod Power Tour. So let's hit the road. Alrighty guys, so this is the start of the last day of Hot Rod Power Tour. We did lose Austin last night. We don't know where he kind of ended up, but apparently he did get his coilover brackets fixed up, so that's all right. I think we're meeting up with him later today to head home. But we did it once over on the C1 Chevelle. It's looking pretty good. Hopefully we can get some more shots while we're on the road. On our road trip back home, but we're gonna go check out over on Evan's truck over here, just make sure everything's all right. It's been going good. She's been the mule of the pack here, hauling all of our stuff that we bought. But
Oh,
Evan,
yeah.
how she's going?
It's good. You know, we're still dripping a little power steering fluid, but I mean, you know, we just keep it topped up. Why would we fix it? So.
That's right. Remember, if it's dripping oil, it's got oil.
Exactly.
So it's looking pretty awesome.
It's been a trooper.
Yeah, how's been the ride in this thing?
You know, it's pretty soft.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bouncy going down the highway.
It could use some new springs in the front end.
You know, maybe a sponsorship, you know, adjustable coilovers.
All right.
Corners.
Well, if you want to sponsor Evan, he's Enemy Metalworks on YouTube. You know, hook him up with some springs because this thing's a little bouncy in the front end.
A little bouncy.
But yeah, so this thing's been going awesome. But I think
we have our Genius garden sprayer attachment.
So yeah, Evan was like overheating like crazy. I think that was at
yeah, it was in Nashville.
Nashville Super Speedway.
Just sitting in stop and go traffic for like an hour and a half. It was just getting a little much. So if you look over here, we got our garden sprayer with some fuel line going inside the cab. And then we have a sprayer hooked up to my shifter here so we can pump it as we're going just to keep her a little cool.
Yeah, so it's like, I think you were saying that it drops about like 15 degrees.
Oh yeah, no, it works good.
Yeah, so when they're going, it was like, I think you guys were hitting, like, it was like 230 or something like that?
Yeah, well, it was sitting around 215 to 220, and then out of nowhere, it just spiked up to 230, and the needle was wanting to keep going, so we clicked it off immediately, started pushing it. I rigged that up on the side of the road, and now anytime it gets close to like 210, start spraying, drops below 200 immediately.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, definitely the heat down here is a lot different than what we have
dense.
up in Canada, so we're not used to that. So little tricks like that really help out. Luckily enough, with the Chevelle, we've been running pretty good. It only sits at about 200 and the fan keeps it nice and cool. So definitely buy a Flexolite. Evan ended up buying a Flexolite fan in here. And
it did help.
Because he had a different setup on it before. It was like 2 fans that came with the radiator, but they just couldn't keep up. So this is a little bit better. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to head over to the next event. I think that's Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway.
Yep.
We're gonna head over there, probably not be there too long because we have like an 8-hour drive home. So we'll meet you guys over at the track. We'll try to get some rolling shots of us going here, and we'll see you over there. But it's been mint. we finally made it here to the last day's event here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway. I think we're not going to spend too much time here just because we have like a 7-hour drive home. But I think what we're going to do is let these things cool off. The C1 Chevelle has just been going super awesome. We tried to get as much videos of it driving as possible. Evan's rig over here, it's been doing sweet. Small fixes along the way, but it's bound to happen on such a long journey. I think we've put on, I think it said 2,800 kilometers. I'll have to do the conversion to miles. Maybe I'll put that on the screen. So far, we do have a bit of a drive back home, so it's going to add to this. Yeah, I think we're going to cool off for a bit, but yeah, we definitely made it to the last day's event, and I am feeling pretty good about that. But I think next time you guys see us, we're going to hit the road, and yeah, you'll probably see us once we're back home, and this thing is maybe back in the barn. So I guess, Evan, we're going to hit the road?
Oh yeah.
Here we go, guys. There we have it, guys. We made it back home with the C1 Chevelle. It did awesome. I think the odometer said that we put on about 3,700 kilometers, so we're gonna do a conversion to miles or whatever that is. But basically, we drove this thing about 1/4 of a mile just before we left, and then we hit the road. Obviously, we had to drive back and fix the clutch line. I don't have much footage of that, basically because we were pretty frantic just trying to get this thing ready to go and hit the road. So that put us back about 3 hours when we were trying to leave on last Saturday. But other than that, and the coolant line that we had blow, we didn't really have any other issues. We are going to be doing a video of fixing this thing up, so the aftermath of Hot Rod Power Tour, because there are other things that have went wrong on the car since then. But basically, we limped it back here just to fix it up. Yeah, I'm really happy on how this thing turned out and how it drove. Basically, it's a Cadillac other than the seats being pretty uncomfortable. So our butts are pretty tired from that drive. But that's what Power Tour is all about, just trying to figure out your vehicle and learning along the way. So if we do it next year, I have definitely learned a lot from this year. So that is super cool, but we'll talk about all that in the next video. Evan and Odessa, they made it home okay with the F100. They just had some kind of suspension issues along the way, just that he needs to kind of iron out with that thing. And Austin with his truck, just the frame breaking on it, and they had that fixed up down there, and they made it home okay. So that's super cool, and I just want to give a big shout out to the guys over at Rustomod. They were so willing to help us fix this thing on anything that went wrong, so definitely go give them a subscribe. I will leave a link down below for their channel. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. You'll just have to wait for next time to see what's wrong with the C1 Chevelle. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you liked it, and we'll catch you next time. And don't forget to salute the beaver.